All right, so let's talk about Category A observation, skill 2A, and that's scanning. Okay, so here's what ICBC says. Always scan when driving, especially when approaching areas where hazards may be present, such as intersections and crosswalks. So we've got about 6 different examples here of things that happen on the road. And the first one is you're approaching a crosswalk and you see that the car in front of you in the lane to the right, their brake lights are on and they've stopped at this crosswalk. Even though you might not be able to see what's happening at this crosswalk or why this person has stopped, you should be thinking that if the car up ahead is slowing down and stopping, I need to do the same thing at this crosswalk, and that's the law. Okay, there might be something you don't see. And unfortunately, there's been accidents that happened here where someone disregarded this clue that someone stopped at a crosswalk and they struck a pedestrian on this crosswalk. Another example is when you're coming up into, let's say, a turn lane, you see a flashing green arrow here. It's a 4-circle light. You see a flashing green arrow. You should be thinking, oh, the advanced green arrow is flashing, but I'm not even in the turn lane yet. What are the chances that it will still be green by the time I get to the intersection? Okay, so looking ahead, planning ahead. Now, I'm not saying start slowing down here and hesitating to go towards the intersection. I'm just saying that as you're coming up to go into the turn lane, you should be thinking about the fact that the green arrow is already on. We don't know how long it's going to stay on for. Sometimes it depends on the length of this lane and how many how they've timed this relative to how much space is available in this lane. But as you're coming towards that intersection, you should be scanning for this light. You should be thinking about what you're going to do if this green arrow turns into a yellow arrow and you have to go into a waiting position. And another example here is looking for the lane signals here, right? So these are telling you what each lane up ahead is doing, right? So if you're driving on a road and examiner hasn't said anything, they're expecting you to continue straight. So you got to find which lane keeps you going straight. Sometimes students are following too close to the car in front of them, and then the car in front of them goes into a left turn lane or to a right turn lane, and they just follow that car. And I'm saying, well, are we going to the same place as that car? Because I haven't indicated that we're turning anywhere. And they're like, oh, I thought this is the lane that keeps us going straight. But if they look up ahead above their lane, sometimes there's lane markings there, or on the ground you'll see the arrows and they tell you where your lane is headed. So look for these clues, and the only way you're going to be able to stay on top of it or stay on top of the 8 ball on the road test is if you start scanning the environment, especially up ahead and to the sides of the road. Another example here is, people are coming up to make a left turn here and they see that the car in front of them is going into the 2-way left turn here to continue straight into this lane. And sometimes students are tempted to just follow suit. And I'm asking them, well, this is for turning into a driveway or to another road here, but it's not a continuation or an extension of your dedicated turn lane here, right? So the correct place to enter into this is at the beginning of this lane here. So there's a drawn island here. We cannot just cut through it and come into this area. Unfortunately, because a lot of people on the road tend to do this, if you are coming in at the correct place, you still need to shoulder check to make sure it's clear from any shortcutters on the left side of you. Okay, so that all ties into scanning. Is I got to look ahead and figure out, is there a turn lane here for me to go into, and what's happening up ahead? Where should I come into this lane? Another example is when students come up to make a right turn onto this road. As they turn onto this road, they should be looking for this lane is ending on the right sign, and that's their indicator that they should indicate to the left, shoulder check to the left, and try to make their way into this lane when it's safe to do so, right? So I wrote, oh, it looks like the lane on the right is ending. I'm in the right lane. I need to signal, mirror, shoulder check, and move over when it's safe, okay? So sometimes students come into this lane and then the lane is ending and they kind of just flow in here without realizing that they're doing a lane change, right? So you need to let people know that you're coming into this lane, shoulder check to see if anybody else is in this lane, because sometimes we turn into this road and at the same time somebody right across from us at this intersection got a gap to finally make this turn, and then as we're coming to this lane they're actually right in our blind spot, and if we don't check for them we're going to be cutting them off, or worse, having a collision with them. And last but not least in this set of examples is paying attention to the sign here that says do not turn right on a red light. So we don't always have this sign, but you will find them around the city. There's a couple in Victoria very close to the ICBC Center, and so you should be thinking, oh, there's a sign prohibiting me from turning right on a red light at this intersection, right? So if I miss it and then I try to once I make my full stop, I shoulder check right. If I try to creep forward into this crosswalk to see what's happening to the left and try to make a right turn when it's red, it will be a fail, right? So when I have this sign posted, I need to stop before the stop line and wait till my light turns green before I attempt to make this right turn. I've had students miss this sign at the intersection and try to make that turn, and an examiner said, you can't go right now, it's a red light. And then they're like, we didn't see the sign, and there was 3 signs at that intersection, 3 of these signs, one on the right here, one right posted by the light, one on the other side of the intersection. So this goes to show that they're not scanning for their environment. So look for these clues, look for people braking, look for when am I turning or where am I going into, and what is my light doing. Look for my signals, lane indicator signs here, and look for where is my turn lane starting. Look for is my lane ending sign, and look for anything that's prohibiting you from doing a maneuver at a certain time.